Hey, what's up guys? Donnie over at MotorUnion. We're doing an engine out service on this old Ferrari 348. So it's a great opportunity to show you guys how to get the perfect wrinkle red Ferrari finish on valve covers. As you can see, these ones are old and pretty ruined, so we're gonna go ahead and make them look brand new. Okay, so a little backstory on those valve covers. This is a 1994 Ferrari 348 that we're doing a major engine out service on. That's gonna consist of redoing all the timing belts, resealing the engine, spark plugs, all kinds of different stuff. So as you can see, we've got the whole motor dropped down out of the car with the rear subframe. All the rear suspension components came down with it. Here you can see we've covered up since we took the valve covers off. We don't want junk getting in there while it's sitting, but yeah, they're going to start tearing this thing apart shortly. And the valve covers had to come off anyways, so it's a great opportunity to refresh them for the customer, have this thing looking, you know, like it did when it was new from Ferrari. All right, so we've had these sitting under the heat lamp for probably 10 minutes or so they're nice and warm now. I'm gonna transfer them into this bag so that once I'm done painting, I can just tie this up, trap all those nasty fumes inside. For the paint stripper, you want a pretty nice even coat over all the paint and then just let it sit and work its magic. You don't have to like really scrub it or do anything like that. It'll kind of tear right through it all by itself. I would recommend putting this in a bowl so that you can like dip this in and paint it on. You could probably just pour this on there and try and spread it out. If you're going to use a bowl, make sure it's metal, not plastic, because this will dissolve plastic. And do not get this on your skin. It will hurt very badly. Oh, there it goes. Fuck, that hurts already. Yeah, the first time I used this stuff, I wasn't really thinking about it, I guess. That if it would eat through paint, it would probably not be good for your skin. And instead of using a paintbrush, I just like poured it on my hands and started rubbing it on. That lasted for approximately 30 seconds. All right, so if you do get this stuff on your hands, I would recommend washing them off with cold soapy water. If you use hot water, the steam from the water is gonna bring the vapors up from the paint stripper into your eyes, and that's not gonna feel good either. Okay, and you can see over here, it's already starting to bubble up. So that'll kind of be what everything will look like here eventually. Okay. So now you can see on this side, see all that paint starting to come up. So we'll let it sit for a little longer, then we'll hit it with a wire brush and knock all that stuff off and throw it in the sandblaster. All right, we'll see how good this worked. All right, so I'm just spraying these down with brake clean to get the residue off. We're probably gonna hit them one more time with the paint stripper to get these thicker sections ripped up a little bit more before we hit it with the sandblaster. All right, so we got the aircraft stripper applied for the second time. We let it sit for about 10 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and throw these in the sandblaster, rip the rest of this off, and then we'll get to painting. Sandblasting technique kind of depends on the abrasiveness of the media that you're using, but typically you want to be a couple inches away from the surface that you're blasting, and you want to move back and forth with smooth, even strokes. All right, so we finished up blasting these. We're going to go ahead and rinse them off with warm soapy water and then mask off all the edges so that we can start painting. So we want to wash off all the sand and grime from the sandblaster to make sure that we have a smooth, even, and clean mating surface for the paint to stick to. And then go ahead and dry that off with compressed air when you're done. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and tape off all the sections of this that are going to be in contact with the gaskets because we want a nice, even mating surface once everything's painted. So we're gonna leave these bare, and then we're gonna go ahead and spice this up a little bit. We're gonna grind over these sections with some Scotch-Brite so that they'll shine through the paint. We'll take the paint off that section to kind of give it a little more contrast. All right, so we've got these valve covers underneath the heat lamp. For wrinkle red finish, or any wrinkle finish really, you want to ideally be above 140 degrees Fahrenheit. We find the sweet spot to be somewhere around 160. You definitely want to be under 200 though. If you're over 200, things are not going to cure correctly. It's going to end up with like a flat finish or uneven wrinkles. So right in that 140 to 160 sweet spot is going to give you the most like aggressive, even wrinkle finish. All right guys, so we got these warmed up. We're gonna go ahead and throw down 2 coats of primer before we do anything with the red. Once the primer is dry, go ahead and apply a really light base coat of your colored finish. All right guys, so now we're gonna do 3 heavy coats. We're gonna let it sit for 5 minutes in between each coat, and each one you have to do in a different pattern. So first we're gonna go horizontal, then vertical up and down, and then a diagonal pattern for the final coat. All right guys, so this final one is going to be a diagonal pattern. So I like to start the first bit of the pattern over the cardboard, because sometimes the first little bit of spray that comes out of the can can be a little clumpy or have a different velocity than it normally does. So that way, if you start over the cardboard, by the time you get to the surface you're painting, it's going to be nice and smooth. All right, now we're going to let these sit overnight to cure all the way, and then we'll grind the paint off the Ferrari logo and the raised parts to kind of give it that contrast touch. All right guys, so these have been curing all night, so we're gonna go ahead and grind off all the raised edges to kind of give it that little extra nice look. We'll be good to go. So the last step here is going to be to apply fresh gaskets and hardware, and to reinstall these valve covers onto the engine. And that's a wrap. Make sure to like and subscribe, and thanks again for watching.